Will you believe what I was craving? Mango.
Ooh.
But it had to be a particular sweet, juicy mango. And so my sister had to fly from Lagos, Nigeria to London to bring mango to
me. I can be sitting and sleep will just catch me in the middle of a work day.
What I don't do very well in pregnancy, I did not touch on my husband. I was doing superwoman too much. Please pass to me. I can't get it.
Meanwhile, before he came,
I was doing
you
everything.
were doing it too. But once you see me, just all of a sudden. Welcome to another episode of the Beyond 30 podcast. Today is going to be another fun episode with my two girlies.
I'm coming.
Come comes.
What's that?
That's a new one. And oh my God. So guys, welcome to another one. Today is gonna be interesting. Guess what we're talking about? We're talking about pregnancy and childbirth secrets nobody told me before I had a baby. I'm sure there are lots of things we didn't know before, especially if you've had a baby and if you're going to have one, you should actually watch this episode. And just to say that, if you've been enjoying our episodes so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, engage with us. We'd really love to hear what you think. And so, guys, this is how we begin.
I don't know how uncomfortable pregnancy was. And no one ever said, like, obviously, when you watch movies, especially all those Nollywood movies, when you watch movies, they'll show, they're vomiting and all that. But nobody explained that, look, it's not just the morning sickness. It's like almost throughout, you are so uncomfortable. You're trying to find the best position to lie in. Sometimes you feel like somebody is choking, you can't breathe. Yeah, so I think for me that was new, like, oh boy.
No, let me tell you, the way you said it, you remember when you watch those movies, when they're like, when they just they only show it one time. Movie people.
Take, you're right.
People need to be showing it more than one time. You need to actually explain like what it is. Because it's not that one, and that's not even, it's the doesn't even happen until after you found out that you're pregnant. Do you know that? It happens, well, most times. Maybe there are a few people that don't know when...
You have irregular periods. You might not have known that you have missed a period, so it will take longer.
Yeah, true. But me, I feel like that happens like 2 months in. No, one month in.
I think once you're over 6 weeks.
6 weeks, eh? Because me, I was waiting, but I didn't know. So here's the thing. I never even researched what morning sickness was. I thought it was just like, you throw up that one time. And then, you are pregnant. And then everything else is wonderful.
Okay, I'm going to go first. I never had morning sickness. I never vomited for one day for morning sickness. Yeah.
Wow.
Never had morning sickness. Jesus. But the other side of it is, you might just be boiling chicken in your house and I pass.
So you had smell.
I had like sensitivity to smell. So there were certain things that we couldn't cook in our house after when I found out. But apart from that, I was very fine.
When you smell it, what does it do?
Yeah, because
it just turns me off. So the thing is that if I smelled something I didn't like while they were cooking it, then I won't be able to eat.
So that's all. That was it. Hey, God. So it's just the smell.
Yeah, so like chicken was a no.
So you can't smell it, but can you eat it if you don't smell it?
Yeah.
You will smell the food now.
No,
after it's cooked.
After it's cooked.
So you don't like the raw smell?
Yeah, like the cooking smell and everything. So that was the only turn off. But the actual eating, in fact, I ate too much. right? Because I didn't have nausea, I didn't have morning sickness, I was never sick. I was even eating too much.
Wow. Lucky. Well, if you're one of the category, if you're also in the category of COVID, you're very lucky. Me, I dealt with like morning sickness 3 months. In fact, they say, it's just first trimester. It passed first trimester. It enter second trimester plus half.
Wow.
Yes, like for me, it's the morning, and even to the end of the pregnancy, I still feel that stuff in my throat until the baby comes out.
Wow.
Then my throat is back to normal.
Oh, wow.
And then I can now eat all the stuff. So some of us, we lose weight when we are pregnant instead of adding it, because we can't eat, you can't drink much, especially that first trimester. Like you lose weight. Anyway, so yes, next time, please, people should be sensitizing us with accurate information.
I think for me, apart from morning sickness, which I had, which is usually just first trimester for me, and that smell thing, I had it too. If I smell it, the first thing I use, once I smell it, I'm going to throw up.
That's what I was saying. That
vomiting for me, so I'll throw up. So I don't even want to smell. Then food aversions, food that I normally liked before. I used to love drinking Coke, everything, because I vomited it. Coke, even sometimes even till after pregnancy, I won't even go near that food.
Do you know what my own was? Shawarma. Before my first, when I was pregnant with my first, I loved shawarma, and then all of a sudden, I threw up when I was pregnant with my first. For some reason, I think maybe because I had shawarma before, or like it just gave me a trauma with shawarma. That when I'm pregnant, I don't want to touch shawarma at all. Like. And I thought maybe it was the ginger garlicky smell or whatever it was. Anyways, I now started eating only bland stuff. Simple, just white rice, very soft. Stew, don't put ginger, garlic, spices. No, very basic. Food aversions. That was.
And there's another weird thing that happened to me that I've not heard many people talk about, was this. I had this metallic taste in my mouth. My mouth just tasted weird in the first trimester. There's just some weird taste. I'm eating, no matter what I eat, that taste doesn't go away. After the first trimester.
You are now better.
It's fine.
I think for me, it was, I've never had, you people, sorry, I cannot relate. But the one I had was, I was constantly is it insomnia?
That's when you can't sleep.
Throughout my pregnancy. I could not sleep.
Me as the opposite.
3 a.m. I'm looking at the I'm looking at the ceiling like, okay, where is this sleep? Is it coming from the north or the south? Because I need to sleep, right? And obviously, because I also needed to get up and go to work, so it was I was exhausted a lot of the time. So that was the only one that was so uncomfortable. The sleeplessness. And then when I started getting heavier, like, you're now looking for which side is the comfortable side.
Yes, that's another thing.
Is it the right?
Not being able to sleep on your tummy.
I think what even made it worse is I'm a tummy sleeper. So I could now not sleep on my tummy. Maybe that's why I was finding it difficult to sleep.
That might be why.
Because I mean, it was bad though. Then they'll now say buy pregnancy pillow.
No, all those pregnancy
working.
pillows. It's a lie. It doesn't work.
So you use the pregnancy pillow, wrap it around your bum. Anyway.
Those are some of the things I also dealt with. It's like, my own was the opposite. So she couldn't sleep. Me, I can be sitting and sleep will just catch me in the middle of a work day.
And there's nobody. Is the opposite, because usually it makes you sleep, especially in the first trimester.
So during the day, I sleep.
Okay.
So for me, in the first few weeks, during the day, I sleep. But then nighttime, I'm wide awake all night.
Me, I sleep afternoon, morning, nighttime. I'm just sleeping. I'm like a lazy human being. Oh, and there's also something that happens to me I'm a career person, right? So I was working. And then every time I got pregnant with my 2 kids, I just had zero zeal for work. Like, I just did not want to do anything. I just want to be home. I didn't want to work.
Do I blame you? I don't blame you now.
I don't know. I was just like, I had zero. But the funny thing is, once the baby comes out, then I'm like back to, okay, now it's time to work again. Yeah. So I had that, like so many things. The
weird thing happened, how they said sometimes your calcium levels and all that are affected. So my teeth became brittle. So at work I was chewing cow bone. I just said, drop my teeth. What? I'm like, what? I'm not joking.
That's very specific.
How?
I was chewing cow bone. Just crop.
First of all, where were you chewing cow bone at work?
It was during lunchtime now.
Oh, this is in Nigeria.
In Nigeria,
Okay,
it was
because
Nigeria.
bone.
Yeah, not here. It was in Nigeria. I just said, oh,
this is hard
my
too, though.
teeth cracked with the bone. Yeah, the bone is kind of hard. It's not like chicken bone. It cracked, so I had to now go to the dentist.
Ay.
If not, my fine girl would have.
Wow. I think when I think about it, there's some things I wish they told us. So one of them for me, this is actually serious, is fitness, right? So it was later on I found out that a lot of the Caucasian women, they would book an appointment with a physiotherapist and a physiotherapist that specializes in women's health, like postpartum health.
Okay.
And so, you know that gap in your tummy, they actually start working on it before they give birth. So if you're watching this and you don't know what we're talking about, when you get pregnant, your tummy basically expands,
Yes.
right? And then the muscles in the middle also give way to allow the baby grow. Now, I'd never heard it in the African community where they say you actually start building your core before you get pregnant so that when that muscle separation happens, it easily fuses back together. Nobody told us. We're busy eating shawarma. Like I said, I don't have problems eating, so I was
ate
eating
it all.
happily.
Yeah.
I don't know that I was supposed to be walking. I was supposed to be working out. And
What kind of exercises do they give them to build?
so they give them like some internal pelvic exercises to hold the muscle together.
In any sit-ups, maybe just.
Yeah, so before they get pregnant, they do some pelvic exercises and they also do weight training to build that area. How we know? Well, to be fair, I guess even a lot of our moms didn't do those
that.
things.
Yeah.
So
But they did try to do some things after pregnancy with depressing the tummy stuff.
Yes, that's medicine after death. So
After
it works
it's
for
done.
some people,
Yeah.
but for some people it doesn't work if there was now a bad tear. It can't work again because that's already happened. And then obviously like the physiotherapists, like they now go to the physiotherapist as soon as the baby is born to help them fuse back together and heal internally. Please, did you see a physiotherapist?
No.
Did anybody tell you about it?
Physiombo. No physio.
So
anything.
those are things I wish
Yeah.
someone had told me.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. How about, because we've been talking about pregnancy, how about childbirth?
Oh, mother.
Or should we finish? Should we finish pregnancy?
Let's finish for pregnancy. Then we'll now go to childbirth.
there anything anybody else?
Childbirth is like, you know, you think you're going to a party. You don't know that. Oh my God. Let me
No,
not talk.
I'm trying to think again of like something I wish people told me.
In pregnancy.
Maybe like
Take
meds.
advantage of your second trimester. That's when you feel the best, the greatest,
Wait,
and
that's
that's
a good
everybody's
point.
pampering you. So take the pampering. If they get up for you to sit down, don't say, "Oh, I'm fine." No, let them stand up. You sit down on the chair.
And if
they
you want
sit-
to travel anywhere too, you
yeah,
can travel
that's the
during
best time
that
to travel
period.
because after that second trimester, some airlines wouldn't even let you fly and all that. And then you start feeling heavy and back pain and all that, you know. And when everybody's pampering, you say, "Oh, do you want this?" In fact, so what did I not do very well in pregnancy? I did not torture my husband well. I was doing superwoman too much. And I just sat there like, "Oh, please pass the remote." I can't get up. Yes, I can't get up. I know
Meanwhile,
that-
before he came,
I was doing
you were
everything,
doing
you
it
know,
too.
I should
But
have-
once you see me, just all of a sudden,
Another thing is, so when I speak that husband's up in the night, I should have done more of that. I'm like, husband, baby wants to eat shawarma. I'm like, enjoy. That's the only time you can do it. You can't do it another day. So I wish someone had told me maximize the opportunity. It doesn't come very often.
it's a really good point, especially like you might be giving the guys some secrets.
Oh, don't show your husband this episode.
Like you should take it, if you're watching a guy, you take her seriously, Biko.
Yeah.
Because you never know, she might really need that shawarma to survive the night.
No, talking of cravings,
Yeah.
what's the most random thing you craved?
I didn't have cravings.
You didn't have any craving.
Ice. Mine goes
Ice.
Yeah.
Okay, ice is easy to get.
Yeah, ice is very easy. I'm a very easy woman on that one. I just had ice. But you know in Nigeria, ice might not be easy to get though.
If there's no
If
light.
there's no
Fair
light.
enough. I mean, maybe there are places in the world where ice is not easy to get. Will you believe what I was craving? Mango.
Ooh.
But it had to be a particular sweet,
voila.
juicy mango. And so my sister had to fly from Lagos, Nigeria to
with
London
the mango.
to bring mango to me.
This was princess picture. I mean, princess.
It was bad. Unfortunately, where it was not even so terrible, obviously, there are British mangoes, but British mangoes taste like cardboard.
No, even the ones here.
So
They
I
just-
bought different
yeah.
types of mangoes they were not giving. I was weeping.
You
I
need
called
that
my
Nigeria
sister.
sherry. Is it sherry mango?
That's what I thought, that it has to be sherry mango.
It has
That
to be
mango
cherry
hits.
mango.
If you are an unhappy person, eat that mango. It will cure your
Honestly,
unhappiness.
I miss that sherry mango. Yes, yes,
That
yes,
mango
yes.
gives
Yes,
a
yes,
different
yes,
level.
yes, yes.
Man, they had to fly from Lagos with mango for
Wow.
me. It was that serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are fun. Those are fun. Okay. So now, can we move into childbirth?
Timmy is rushing into this childbirth.
Like,
Is that something
just
you're going to
curious.
get in childbirth?
I don't
Eh?
know.
Childbirth
I
is
feel
equally
like
as
that's
interesting.
the one
I feel
that
like
has a lot
let's
more.
allow her move. If we
Because-
remember some of our pregnancy, we can still come back to the pregnancy. and
Yeah.
talk about it.
No, the reason why is like for pregnancy, like your mom, like okay, even if your parents told you, like if my mom told me, oh, expect this, expect that, you might be pregnant and it's not the same,
Well, fair enough.
right? Like so, there's no
Yeah.
way,
Even-
there's no way
even
to
with
prepare.
yourself,
Yeah.
your first pregnancy is not the same.
It's
as
not
your
the
second.
same.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of hard to really know everything about pregnancy while you're before you get pregnant. The best way to experience it is
To
to
get pregnant.
actually be pregnant and know to take it easy while you're pregnant. Like, you know, the way, you guys were saying, take advantage of, enjoying all that whole
the
attention.
privileges and
Because
attention.
once the baby comes out, everything switches like quickly.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Childbirth.
let's talk about childbirth. What are some of the things that...
So me, I had a very unorthodox childbirth. So I don't think I have a lot to give. Okay, but I would say this. Don't think that your childbirth has to be painful. Because I did not feel one crap.
How did you...
Normal
One.
delivery.
How did you...
I dilated now. Now I didn't even know I was in
While you were
labor.
dilating, you did not feel
Nope.
anything.
I was asleep.
Did you take epidural?
Nope.
Doctor mode. Doctor mode.
Like she's confused.
So that's one of those things. That's why I was saying, do you want to share a little bit about
let's
like...
know. Yeah, very
What
lucky.
a-
This girl is
do
too
you-
lucky. She didn't have morning sickness. She did not have feel pain during childbirth. Which suffering did you not suffer?
That's the thing. That's why I'm saying I did not suffer. But because I enjoyed, I didn't know that, okay, first of all, yes, don't eat everything that passes in front of your face. I think I was always hungry. And so I ate.
So
right?
I guess that's where you
Yeah,
like,
so
you
that's a
control your-
lesson that I learned.
control
No, but I
your
wasn't,
urges.
I never felt labor pain. In fact, the day I went into labor with my first child, my mom and I were confused. Like, is this labor? Could this be labor? Because I didn't sleep all night as usual. And then I was like, I feel strange. I think I'm in labor. Momsi was like, are you sure? So I called my OBGYN and I was like, I think I'm in labor. He's like, don't worry, if you're in labor, you will know. I'm like, but I feel strange, like this baby is coming today. He's like, just know that if you go to the hospital and they check you and you're not in labor, they're going to charge you. I'm like, okay, no problem. The only symptom of labor that I had was that morning I then threw up. And then I was like, Mom, I think we should go to the hospital.
Yes.
Got to the hospital, I was actually dilating. Like, by the time they checked me, they were like, when I got to, it was so funny. So mom went with me. By the time we got to the reception at the hospital,
Yeah.
and the nurses, basically, they looked up and they were like, can we help you? I was like, I think I'm in labor. So they busted to laughter.
Do you know, like, why do nurses do that?
Yeah,
So they
it's
busted to
actually
laughter,
not
like,
nice.
Why do nurses
They
do
are saying
that?
that if you're in labor, you have to.
yeah.
Because I was gonna ask a question following up to that, where that whole like water breaking. How dramatic is this happening? Because I feel like I didn't go through like natural birth, so sometimes I feel like the way they portray it is like the water will be and there's water everywhere.
Don't worry, I'm giving my drama. Exactly. Let's come and finish.
Okay.
the pull up better. So they were like, oh, can we help you? And I'm like, I think I'm in labor. And two of them burst into laughter. I'm like, why are they laughing? Anyway, so they were like, oh, okay, let's show you to a room. Okay, so they showed me to the room. And I could sense that they didn't believe me because they kept on looking back and forth. You know those glances?
Yeah.
Anyway, then they checked me. They found out that I was like 2 or 3 centimeters. And they were like, okay, this is actually happening. So they left me there. I slept off.
All the way to 10 cm, you didn't feel pain.
So
This laughter.
I didn't feel pain. I was asleep. But I didn't get to 10 cm because random story, we'll save this for off camera. Random story then happens and then I had to have a CS, right? But I got to 7. And I never felt anything. I slept all through. My second child, I was actively in labor. I was on the phone gisting with my mom. And then the midwife comes in. She looks at the monitor. She looks at me. She was like, "Are you not feeling any pain?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "I think you're in labor." I looked at her. I was like, "No." So my mom then says, "What's she saying?" I was like, "Oh, Mom, they said I might be in labor." Mom is like, "Really?" So this lady says, "Oh, I think the monitor might be broken." She goes out, gets a new monitor, brings it out and says, "Let's watch you for 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, she went and called the whole staff to come and identify that I am sure this woman is in labor because the contractions was they were very clear, but I wasn't feeling anything. So yeah, I had that.
I think that's miraculous. Not a lot of women. But there's some women, they said like they just like feel like they want to poop and they poop.
With no pain prior to that.
Yeah, there's some people like that.
Blessed, yeah.
Yeah.
They did not receive the cost that God placed on us.
They broke themselves of that cost.
Oh my god! I did not see that one coming. Like what? Which course?
You know what? That man.
Okay, I think Mary needs to tell us.
And the serpent.
Yes, like in the garden of
Oh,
Eden.
yeah, okay.
Then he cursed. That's when he
that
cursed.
one.
Like,
Yes.
But the
Motherhood.
Hebrew women still weren't going through pain, no?
Who told you they did not go through pain? They just give birth. They went through pain. Yeah,
Okay.
except it's
So that means that sounds like yours was very painful.
That's why she feels like the healing from the curse did not reach her.
So the first of all started like so. Okay, let me give you the gist. So I went to we were in America because we went to America to give birth.
Yeah.
So I went to my family friend. No, she's my auntie, but she's my small auntie. I'm older than her. Complicated story. Sha knows she's my auntie. So I went to her house. She was also pregnant, but she was due like a month after me.
Okay.
So went to visit them and everything, and they gave us fried rice to eat. I was enjoying myself, feeling happy. Before that, you know, when you're pregnant, you always go to pee all the time now.
Yeah.
So I felt like I wanted to go and pee, but I was like, oh, when I'm done eating, I'll pee. Next thing, no. Towards the end of my fried rice, and I felt like my trouser, my leggings was getting wet. I said, but I can't be peeing on myself now. I know I want to pee, but
Is this sweat?
it has not gotten to this. Luckily, it was brown like animal skin. It has not gotten to the level that I'll be peeing on myself now. So I now said, let me get up and go and pee. As I stood up like this, water. Whoa!
Wow.
So it actually is like a pool of
in
blood.
somebody's house, my sister. You know, if it was my house, it would be better. I entered someone's house, I went to go and
Wow.
That's crazy.
Is that amniotic fluid?
Amniotic fluid.
Everywhere.
my
everywhere.
goodness.
On the chair.
So it does
on
happen
the
dramatically like that. Wow.
Wow.
Everybody now went into panic mode because they didn't know what to do.
Wow.
Because you're the only doctor,
I'm the
innit?
only doctor. If I was running around, my husband was running around, my grandma was running around, this small auntie was running around. Did you know this was how I sat and I was looking at them? They didn't even remember that they could call Uber, they could do anything. They were just
So what were
They
they?
run around doing.
like chaos. Go and get food. Okay, should they clean it? Okay, should you sit down? Should you stand up? Oh no, don't sit. Oh, don't. I was looking at them like this.
That sounds like
In my
so
own
funny.
I realized that the water wasn't clear because it should be clear, but there was meconium. So when your baby poops,
Oh, yeah, doctor.
yes, there was
The
meconium.
doctor.
So me, I was now satisfied that there's meconium inside this, that this thing is not clear. So my mom was like, okay, let's get to the hospital fast. So, and I said, okay, you guys should call Uber. And I finally called Uber. Uber finally came and they were now guiding me down. They said, okay, what are we going to do about you? Because they didn't have extra clothes for me. So they now gave me a jacket to tie on my waist.
Okay.
Then I now went to the Uber with my husband. Then he had to call his mom because his mom was in our house. We came to visit someone else. So we now went to the Uber. So all the while I was in Uber, then you know those chatty Uber drivers, talking. I was like, I'm not in the mood. Then my husband was sharp talking to the Uber driver. Then he now realized that my face was somewhere. He now said, is she in labor or something? My husband has said yes. At that time there was traffic. It was rush hour.
Was he hurting? Was he hurtful?
So before the water broke, Nothing.
Everything was fine. Okay.
But after the water broke, few minutes after, I now started to feel contractions, pain. So all that time, the Uber driver was talking nonsense.
That's not what was
pain.
to
That
you.
was no.
Oh my
was
gosh.
So there was traffic. So he now had to go and find all these shortcuts, inner
Okay,
roads, and that was how we got to the hospital. And then by the time we got to the hospital, they now said, we now told them that I'm in labor and everything. They were also just looking. I'm like, my water already broke and everything. They now looked and I said, oh, they now rushed me, put me on the monitors and everything. They now said, because it's my first time pregnancy, I won't give birth anytime soon.
Why do
I don't know why they always do that. I don't know why they always do that.
nurses need to stop doing
they need to
that
stop
thing?
assuming, yeah.
Stop assuming.
Yeah, because
You should
so
know
they
better.
expect that you should spend like 5, 6, even up to 10 hours because your first pregnancy. Within 3 hours, baby was out. In fact, by the time I was fully dilated, they didn't believe because the pain was so much. So my husband went to go and call them. They now checked. I'm already 10 cm. Then it was time to push the baby, and of course, I felt pain when pushing. Then the pushing part. I thought I'd used all my might to push. They were not telling me, no. They can only sit here, the baby's not out. I said, with the way I've been pushing my head, I've been pushing, I've used all my chest, you are telling me that I've not done anything. So they were already preparing that if I push one more time and it doesn't go, they're going to take me in for CS. So I just prayed, I said, God, I've used all my strength to push. Just help me push this baby out.
I think that's what usually, there's
Yeah.
a strength that a mother has when they don't want to, when they don't want something to happen. Because another friend of mine had told me that same thing where they told her that if the next push, if nothing happens, she's like, what? She woke all the pushing, there's some kind of special training enter her head. That next push like this, boom, baby. Continue.
So that next push too,
Pum.
the baby came out. I was like, thank God. So that was how.
But is that the end?
After that.
Is there no that other thing they have to remove?
The placenta, of course. That one is up where you have gone through the pain of labor.
So the other one is
the placenta,
easy.
you won't even.
So do you push again for that one?
No. You don't really push. They just massage your tummy and guide it out.
Okay.
You don't have to push that one out. They just guide it out and tug it gently. You don't know what type of placenta. It's just disconnects from the uterus by itself, and then they just wind it out and bring it out gently. Okay. It's only if there's a problem that the placenta will stick and not come out. That one you need surgery. It won't come out on its own, but normally it's supposed to just come out after the baby.
That's very good information.
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure that make sure that you're watching out for those things.
Yeah, watch out for those things. And then some women have tears. I had some small tears from that one. There wasn't any major tears. So after they bring out the placenta, the next thing is to stitch up the tears and all that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is that not almost like C-section to me?
No, it's not C-section. You won't even feel well because they'll inject anesthesia and then stitch it up.
I know I'm extra, but okay. So how about things that they did not tell you about after the baby is out?
Like your sleep, how you never get to sleep the way you used to sleep before.
I feel like no. So they say don't co-sleep with your baby.
Yeah.
That was what saved my life, because if I didn't co-sleep with that baby, I would have been so sleep deprived.
Why would they? Okay, so you don't crush.
You suffocate baby. Oh, that thing saves lives, because co-sleeping with baby, and especially when you're now before we get to co-sleeping, the breastfeeding.
I was going to say that
breastfeeding is another painful. But they don't tell you. And when you watch movies, you just see people just bring out the boob
right away.
and just
They didn't tell you that. First of all, your baby might need immediate formula. There's nothing wrong with that.
Because the milk doesn't come out.
Yeah, because they're watching the baby's weight and everything, and they want the baby to at least, because I think the baby loses a bit of weight
immediately after birth.
And then gains it after. So if you're struggling to breastfeed and milk is not coming out right away, don't feel like that's the end of your exclusive if you want to do exclusive. Like, that's not the end. See, so many things that I had in my head around breastfeeding. With my first, it was a struggle. Because I was just like, oh, this baby knows latching. Please, latching. Okay, that's number one.
Because
latching.
If the baby is latched on properly, you shouldn't feel pain.
Yeah.
If the baby is latched on properly, you shouldn't feel pain.
I agree with you. Is that latching?
Yes.
And before the baby, as soft and tiny as the mouth is, the kind of
it will be pain
that you feel.
Yes.
Let's not go too
I don't want to traumatize anybody watching this.
But this is for your information, so that if you experience that, okay, right away, your baby's not latching, it's not the end of the world. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Let your baby have some food, and then you can figure out the latching as you go. But yeah,
I think the latching one it traumatized me. Like, I'm not even kidding. So the first one is, obviously, because I was a CS mom, they said for CS moms, it takes a little bit of time for the brain to kick in and like baby's out and everything. So, okay, milk wasn't coming out. But they said just put the baby on. So, you know, you're already in pain. They now say put the baby on. And put the baby on, you need to sit up. So that, because you cannot lie down now, you have to sit up. You are already in pain. And then the baby now obviously wasn't latching properly. Guess what they did? Now said they have to pull so your nipple might not be out. The nipples were inside. They now said they have to pull it out. Which suction?
What do you use? What do you use?
They said two ways.
okay.
You can use hand or they can use suction. Anyway, they tried hand first. I nearly saw Jesus.
Who's that? The midwife, I mean.
Which midwife? They asked my mom to do it for me. Okay. I nearly saw Jesus. It was so, because they're trying to pull it out.
Put that inverted syringe, just put it and suck it out. That
was not working.
Did you
it wasn't working. Yeah, so they tried the inverted syringe. They even tried the nipple guard that they put, and then the baby sucks it, and they say, "Oh, come!" It was not working. So they now said, so to try and manipulate the nipple out, or more. The way I was crying.
Jesus.
And
I can't imagine
when that one didn't work,
through, because oh my god,
you get you're already in pain. Right. So because that one didn't work, they now said, okay, let them get the suction, the machine. So this is the big, what's the name? Medela.
Yeah. Breast bone.
Obviously, pregnancy already makes your nipples sore.
Yeah.
So as the thing was sucking, they now put it on the highest suction to make sure the nipple comes out. My God.
The nipples did not come out.
They not come out.
Mothers are amazing.
So how did you not eventually get around it?
So I had to endure that pain of the suction plus the finger manipulation
continuously
for like a week, and then eventually.
Slowly. Wow. Yeah, that's a tough one. The one that was like, it was not like, I guess it was just weird for me, is the latching was a struggle for sure with my first, but it was even the way the midwives were touching my boobs and carrying it, and it's messy. I'm just like,
the lack of privacy.
I'm like, oh my god, why do I have to go through this? Is there no other way? It felt too intimate. On top latching, mala. Oh, please let me formula the baby. It's okay.
Did you feel like during your pregnancy that it was almost like your body was no longer your own? It now belonged to a community of doctors, nurses, midwives.
I know.
Everything, yeah.
I know. It was anyway. People need to be giving mothers kudos, okay? Because noisy.
I remember this one, my OBGYN did this to me. So I went for my checkup. This was like 36 weeks or 37 weeks. Yeah. I was just, it's already awkward. And then I just saw a whole battalion, entourage of doctors enter the room. I wanted to die. Like, oh my God.
Why did they call him? He must have seen something. If it's just a checkup, why did he call everyone? He wanted to teach them
I don't
something.
know. Maybe he wanted to teach them something, but are you the lab, what do they call it?
Lab rat.
Like, I just saw people who wear coats. Everybody just coming, and they're all looking serious. They came to learn. They're all looking serious with glasses, and they're all doing like this inside your private body.
That's how they become great doctors.
That's why they're not looking at your face. They're focusing on when they came to.
Because they're going to ask that question after. They're becoming great doctors.
It's so uncomfortable.
You're just the lab rat on that one.
It's so. Is it me? Is it just me?
I didn't experience that one, but yeah. I didn't experience that one.
No, for my childbirth, at least 10 medical
Jesus.
Yes.
My
okay,
Lord.
no, different ones,
when I started pushing, and it got to the stage where they said if you don't push now CS, I don't know.
So there's some people maybe were just ready for like the CS.
I can't remember where they are. It's good or whatever.
Did you have midwives too, like there?
No, it was a doctor, no midwife. It was doctor.
All doctors.
So in the US, yeah.
Wow.
No midwife. I didn't go for midwife.
So your OBGYN will be there.
OBGYN, all the residents were there.
Yeah,
the
no,
nurses were there. Like the room was full.
Wow.
It's a community birth.
Community birth.
Is it always like that? or
No,
is it
that was my
just
first time giving birth in America.
Oh.
I saying, is it always like that for
every pregnancy?
So at least, yes, the OBGYN has to be around. There should be at least one resident, then the nurse and
So
the
that's three,
pediatrician
four.
to receive the baby.
So that's
Yes,
four?
Yes, at least
That's
those
four.
four people
At least
should
four.
be around.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then sometimes you have like the anesthesia.
That is if you are doing CS.
So
or
now,
you
if
take
they're
epidural.
afraid,
Yeah.
if they think you're going to need CS, then maybe they immediately just alert people to
Yes,
say, "Come
to
close."
the theater.
Gotcha.
Because they'll move you to the theater for CS.
Okay,
not
okay,
delivery room.
okay.
Yeah.
Can we just talk
That's
about the
interesting.
difference between the childbirth experience in the US versus, well, I had US and UK.
I have Canada, so but
I
I don't know if I can remember everything.
And where?
And the car.
And the car. Can you tell us about this car
Because
experience?
this car one. I mean, so that you will not feel weird if you are the car birthing type.
Who was I give birth in the car? So they said that then I hear gist that some women give birth even in the market. They will just go to market and they'll go into labor and everything. I used to think that that's crazy, but more it's
not
happened to
crazy,
me or
oh.
remaining small to give birth. So let me tell you the gist. So that week, so first of all, the baby came at 37 weeks. Normal time for delivery is 40 weeks, but sometimes it can come like plus or minus 7 days, so at least 39 weeks. This one came at 37 weeks,
Jesus.
early 10. So that week I was supposed to go for a course at work. You know all those courses where they give you money now to go for the course. So I was like, I'm going for this course. It was my husband that was like, no.
At 37.
At 37 weeks, I said I'm going for this course. My husband was like, no, why will you go for the
energy.
course? And
Yeah.
I said, why not? That I'm not due until 40 weeks, which
Yeah.
was the following year.
Yeah.
Do you get? He said, no. That you cannot go for the course. I said, I'm going to pay me the money that he was supposed to give me for this course. That's the condition I'm not going. And I don't know if he had some kind of, would I call it premonition or what? Because normally my mother-in-law comes when I want to give birth.
Right.
She was not supposed to come until like 1 week to like give birth.
Okay.
He already called her to come 3 weeks before. That was weird. So the next day that I was supposed to go for the course, right? I think that day I went for antenatal or something. Normal antenatal, nothing. Do you know when I went for that antenatal? I think they said maybe you are 2 cm dilated, but you know you can be 2 cm for like a week, 2 weeks. It doesn't mean anything. So they didn't take it as any big deal. My EDD was still 3 weeks away. Okay, now I came back home, everything. So that night we were still joking about that course. Now allow me to go. Then we went to bed. And then I woke up in the middle of the night to go and pee. I don't know. So because they told me I was 2 cm dilated, even though I knew it could be there for a long time. And I said, I've not started packing my baby bag. And you know you should always have that baby bag handy in case of anything. And I said, let me just even start packing the baby bag. I just started that night and then I got tired and went to sleep. So then I woke up in the middle of the night. I said, let me go and pee. So I went to pee. I just said, pop. You know how egg, you break egg, how it lands on the floor. That sound when eggshell lands on the floor. That's what I had. Pop. And then the wee I said, is this wee or is this something else? I was now confused. Just like I was confused the other time.
The confusion
The
never goes away.
confusion. I now stood up. Shh.
Poor.
That my water has broke. At 37 weeks, what is going on? And I had to come with my husband. It looks like the water has broken and everything. I know he went for that. What has he ran to come.
Why are men always like
The drama.
He went to go call his mom. Okay, we need to start going to the hospital. And you know, I already had a daughter.
Yeah.
So, first of all, we now wanted to go. I did not want to start.
Eh, wahala,
I
the devil's
did not
lie.
want to start. They said battery was dead. Okay, battery is dead. Let's use the other car. The fuel in the tank was low, so we didn't want to risk because the hospital I booked with was in the island and we lived on the mainland. So we didn't want to risk going farther down, cash not just going to stop on the road or something. So we now said, okay, let's try. When we tried and the car wasn't starting, the battery one, we now moved to that one. Then another one of our family friends was staying with us at that time. So my husband just told that one that, you know what, just fix the car and come and meet us in case of anything on the way. At least you meet us on the way. So that was how we now entered the car. I sat down in front. My mother-in-law was at the back with my daughter and the house help. So all this time, you know, when the water breaks, then the contractions get intense and you start feeling the pain. One time before water breaks, me, I don't used to feel anything. But once that water breaks like this,
That's when you start feeling
contractions, and to just continue increasing.
how
and increasing.
bad is the pain?
It's really intense. So intensity increases with time. You know how contractions work. it's always at regular intervals. So it will start maybe 1 in every 10 minutes. So now reduce to 1 in every 8, 1 in every 6, before 1. So the closer to the labor, the more dilated you are, the more frequent the contraction and the more painful. As the frequency is increasing, the pain is increasing. So we're now on the way now in the car, and me, I have a high threshold for pain. And I can. And that comment doesn't feel pain, or she has a high threshold. One of the two, because
I don't have a high threshold though.
Because I'm still wondering how she did not feel any pain. Is that you have such a high threshold?
Miracle.
Or the miracle. She skips
Miracle.
She skips
Not
the
the tire,
course.
Jesus.
Because so we were now in the car going, and the pain was getting more, but I wasn't shouting. So my husband was just saying, you know what, just do one thing for me. Make sure we get to the hospital before this baby comes out. Make sure you get to. And I was like, hello, I just went to labor. I still have at least 6 hours more. What's all this noise? That's what I told myself as a doctor, because labor progresses. Doesn't just happen like that. Now, so at the very minimum, I have 3 hours, and this is the middle of the night. There's no traffic on the road, so please,
we'll be there for sure.
That's what I was saying in my mind. He said, please, just make sure you give. I don't know, maybe that guy, he sees things, because he had called his mommy beforehand. He told me I couldn't go for course, and now he's telling me I should please wait to get to the hospital before I push. Why are you telling me, like, I can't push, except it's time to push? Okay, we're now going. We now reach Lekki toll gate. They were not disturbing us for toll. Because at the time we were reaching Lekki toll gate, the pain was intense. I was screaming.
Maybe that's why the guy too said it, because like the way this woman is screaming.
No. All the time we were driving, that he was telling me this. I was quiet.
Okay.
I was feeling pain, but I was quiet. I didn't
Okay.
see anything. You wouldn't even know I was in pain.
Right.
And it was dark in the night. So it's not like he could see my face or anything. But he was just saying, I don't know how we knew.
see.
So by the time we reached Lekki toll gate, I already started doing, the pain was a lot. My for me to shout, you know that pain is a lot, because I would not shout. So then the toll gate man was not saying, you need to pay for toll something. My husband just said she's in labor. I just screamed, the man immediately opened it. The guys, they not allowed us to go. You know, Lekki phase 1 in the night now, party goers, clubbers, the place was crowded. I mean, the streets were crowded. Yeah, in the night, Lekki phase 1 is always crowded. All those lounges, everything, they're always there. So they were pulling the way. My husband was just like, speeding on the road. Then Lekki phase 1, speeding. Because by then, the babies, you know, for me to scream, I had reached the highest points of the labor. Probably I was already fully dilated, because the farther you get, the more intense the pain. I already felt the baby's head. I could already feel, and the way that baby was going, normally they'll tell you push. I was not pushing. The baby was pushing. So it was just boop, 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 like boop, 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 boop. You know how you're trying to hold poop, but you had a really bad running stomach and you're holding the poop, like let this poop come out. Boop, 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 boop. I was like, boop, boop, boop. I said, there's no point. I could already feel the head. So I just said sorry. I shall remove my underwear. I now spread my leg like this on the chair in front. I was getting ready, because I knew that the next boo 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 boo, that head was going to come out. So when the boo 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 came again, the head popped out.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And by the head, the time the head is popping out, it's not good for the baby to remain there, obviously. So I just put my hand to scoop the shoulder out, brought out the baby. So
Doctor, oh my God. No, honestly, I don't know if I could. Maybe because
the placenta was still inside, and then the umbilical cord with the baby were outside.
Connected.
So, and the baby came out alive.
Was he crying?
He cried,
oh my God.
and then he stopped. He didn't do right, because
that's a different thing.
He cried so that I know that he's alive.
Yeah.
And then he kept crying. I was not looking. You know this baby back in the air.
This is so dramatic. Oh my God.
They say when they give birth to baby, they'll close their eyes for days. These babies of these days, they used to shine eyes. This one was looking around. I said, and I asked him, I literally told him, I said, oh yeah, you have come out now. You have seen what you want to see. Because I don't know why you could not wait for before you came out. Oh,
Really? You were talking
That's
to me?
hilarious.
I said, now you have come out. Oh, you have seen that. You need to wait for us to get to the hospital.
Wow.
My husband was
That's a
traumatized. In fact, he started from when he saw the head. He said, I can see the head, I can see the head. So you're driving. So then the next push baby came, and then when the baby came, my mother-in-law, all of them at the back were just in shock. I didn't hear their voices. What the hell is going on here? Do you get? And I was with slimy, you know, that the baby's body vermis, it's called vermis, that creamy thing on the baby. So I was trying to hold so that he should not even slip through my hands. So I was with the vermis and everything, and then he was just busy looking at me. And we now got to the hospital. They were now
Holding him
confused.
like that?
I was holding him like this. And we were in the hospital. So my husband ran inside to go and call them. They now came out. They were not now sure how to bring me out of the car. Because they're not seen this one before. So this was how I was sitting there with my baby in the hospital with placenta, umbilical cord and this. They said, should they use stretcher? No.
They like to ask themselves questions.
I bet should they use wheelchair? They were not confused. I swear for like 10 minutes they were debating what to do with me. This was how me and the baby were just like, I said, at least the baby is coming, the baby is fine. Let them be figuring out what they want to do. Eventually, then I said, okay, let's transfer on the wheelchair. So they now shifted me like this into the
Why
wheelchair.
didn't they wrap the baby and take him and cut him?
So they shifted me first.
That's what I saw in all this medical drama.
Then they went to go and get the.
Who did? A medical person?
The doctor,
medical.
no, we were in the hospital.
Okay.
At that time, we were in the hospital.
So the 10 minutes where they are trying to debate, is it with the doctors?
The doctor, they were confused.
Really?
They didn't know which one they should do.
Wow.
Because they're not seeing someone that will come with baby in their hands.
Okay. I think all these
amazing.
medical dramas, I've seen that happen several times where they'll just cut, as soon as they get there with the baby, they'll just cut the umbilical cord and then somebody, the pediatrician team will take the baby.
And normally what happens in the US, because I did a bit of internship in the US, normally when it's ambulance that picks you up, the ambulance has already told the hospital about the situation, so they are prepared with what is coming. First of all, this one, there was no ambulance, they were not prepared. Nobody told them their wildest dream that somebody will show up at their door with baby in their hand, placenta inside, and they don't know how to transfer the person. So they were just confused. They had never seen. I was like, you know the way you said you were spectacular. I was spectacular for all the time. They were always coming to pick me to my room.
Really?
They knew
Celebrity.
me. I was celebrity in the hospital. They knew me.
Do you think you'd have been able to handle the birth if you were not a doctor yourself?
No. I think because I had handled a couple of births during my practice, so I knew what to do, and I was pregnant. Let me now tell you something that happened. Sometimes God speaks to us. I don't know who spoke to my husband, though. I swear, because all the things he was doing, calling his mommy ahead of time, saying
some things are supernatural.
Yes,
cannot be
and begging
explained.
me that wait till we get to the hospital before he push. I'm like, I have a lot of time. Why will you tell me wait till we get to the hospital? It's like maybe he had seen something I don't know. So, few weeks before that, before I went on my maternity leave, we were having, and that discussion in hindsight was what prepared me for what I did. We were having a discussion with my colleagues. They were now talking about how women give birth by themselves. That there are many women give birth by myself, and that my colleague is another. And she said, another women do it where they give birth. I said, me, I can never give birth by myself. What is that? That's why I sat on the chair. Can never be me. Do you know that?
Oh my God.
At that moment that I felt the baby's head, you know, you will see the hair.
I remember the conversation.
I now remember the conversation. I said, if I don't do this thing now, the baby might die because that was a dangerous spot. And we were not close to the hospital. I better. So that was why I just
Thank God for that. Oh my God.
and pushed and then just try to, because it's another thing with the head. Then because people are already saying, why did you book hospital far from your house? Then if the baby had died, that's why they will tell me that you too, you were trying to do push. That's why you went to the island. Why did you book us? You know, people now start blaming you for what is not your fault. Because tell me why somebody's water will break and in less than an hour the baby's already out. Where does that happen? Do you get? That never happens. It gives you time. Do you get? So from sleeping to water breaking and pew in less than an hour, because it didn't take us long. Remember I said it was in the middle of the night, there was no traffic. 30 minutes max was what we took to get to that hospital from mainland to, because we used the express, there was no traffic, no nothing. But within that 30 minutes the baby was out.
It's amazing.
He definitely was in a hurry to come out.
In a hurry to come out. I don't know.
Knowing the person.
Knowing the person. You won't know. I don't know. And you know the thing, like you said, God works in miraculous ways. I barely bled. The whole blood that I bled was maybe less than a sanitary pad. The sanitary pad did not get soaked. Normally, you know when you go into labor, you will bleed. The sanitary pad did not get soaked in that whole labor experience. Maybe in the chair, just 1 second. That was all the blood, and then
that's amazing.
Very, very minimal blood, even days after. But normally, people will even give birth in the hospital, have complications, things will happen. And guess what? Tear. I did not have any tear. I did not have tear.
Really?
I didn't have tear. So it was just
it's miraculous.
Like
it's miraculous too.
Yeah, it was miraculous, definitely.
Even the entire just getting pregnant and having babies alone, that's a miracle.
It's the miracle that you cannot explain.
Nobody can explain.
But there's a lot. For me, I feel like there's a lot that can go wrong. Like when you hear some people's stories of the tiny thing that went wrong, and then either the mom or the baby did not make it. So I was telling you that, I had a CS birth. I shouldn't have had a CS birth. But meconium, So I was already 7 cm dilated. I don't know why my doctor thought it would hasten it up if he broke my water for me. In the process of breaking the water, I think it was a bit rough. So the baby went into distress, and that was why we had a CS. But between when I got to the hospital, I got to the hospital like 9 a.m. I was comfortable, I was sleeping. My husband wasn't even there. And so obviously he was like, is she meant to be sleeping? Even the nurses kept on saying, we don't know why she's sleeping, right? By the time it was 12 o'clock, I was already 7 cm dilated, so within 3 hours. And it was very comfortable. But that singular decision he took, like, oh, we're going to break the water, it just created a whole different scenario that we didn't see coming. And do you know, it's so crazy that at the time he broke the water, he had just left. When the baby's heartbeat started dropping and we had to have a CS. He wasn't the one who performed the CS.
CS.
He closed for the day or what?
No, because so basically he broke my water and he was like, oh, it's going to be another 3 hours before she's ready to push. So he left. 5 minutes later, baby was out. It was an emergency CS and everything. And so for me, I'm like, the doctor who eventually delivered the baby had never met me, doesn't know me. Me, I was even sleeping. Guess when I opened my eye? When they dropped me on the operating table.
Wow.
So you did not know?
No. I don't know all the while that they carried me on stretcher
I guess
and
we're shouting.
shouting. I don't know if it's called blue, they shout.
Yeah.
Was
just baby in his distress, or were you also?
No. I was just
fine.
comfortable. You know, I didn't sleep all night.
Okay, so you were very.
I was so tired, I was just sleeping. So when they lifted me from the bed, I didn't know. It was the bam on the OR table that made me wake up. And then the next thing I just heard the doctor just say, don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. And then I slept, and then anesthesia kicked in. And I slept off. The stupid doctor did not make it in time for the birth.
So he just came ahead, he just that.
Yeah, he literally came to apologize the next morning to say, I'm sorry I missed your delivery.
Yeah.
It was a bit too fast. My point is, just imagine if, because they had to know, and that's why I was talking about the different experience in the US. They take care of you. It's like...
Is it because you pay so much money?
I don't know.
Because
US doctors, is that why? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same in UK as it is in Canada.
What was the experience in Canada? I don't know anyone that's better
So, so me, I didn't go through normal delivery too. I went through like CS. And this is, I was going to talk about the fact that, you know, there's also like the ones where like you do elective CS where you don't, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Mine was not particularly elective, but I chose that option because for me, I just felt like there's no point risking the normal delivery. Maybe my faith was not as strong, but
that's what's called elective.
Yeah. So for me, I was elective about it, and I was like, okay, we'll do the CS. And the CS was very straightforward for me. The doctors were there.
And you were awake.
And I was awake. I was awake for it. Because I planned it, so I read up a little bit around like, okay, what to expect before CS. But I think one of the things that helped me so much, I went through midwives. The midwives were amazing. If I can give them anything more than 5-star, I'll give it to them. There were 2 of them, but the main one, she was very good at like setting expectations, telling me what to expect, telling me how it was gonna go, coming to check up on me in the hospital like multiple times. But when it's elective, you just walk in. They give you a date, they give you a time. You just walk in like you're going for an appointment.
Into labor before then?
No, they don't let you go into labor.
They won't like if they won't let you. They would have even prepped your tummy, like your baby, for the birth. Because like sometimes, like if you're doing elective, I don't think you wait for like 40 weeks.
Can't wait for 40
I think 38
weeks
max. 38, 39. Yeah, 38 weeks max. I think is what they do. So they kind of prep your baby a little bit for the CS. So that's how it was for me. It was very like, it just felt like I was going for an appointment. Like just a doctor's appointment. I had my bag ready. It was like,
can you imagine?
And the team, like you get in there, they will explain everything to you. Like, I think maybe Canadians are also super nice. Yeah. In general, like they don't need money. Like I think the government pays for the stuff here if you're a resident. So they don't need. They're there to do their job. So and they want to do it well. So. And also, you know, sometimes God just favors you too. Like you have the right team. So everybody came in, explained their role, Say, we're going to give you anesthesia. We're going to give you this. This is, you need to stay still for this one because this, and then they explain the next one, and then they explain the next one. And the next person says, when your baby comes out, I'll take the baby.
Oh, wow.
Like, they're very good at, like, guiding you through what to expect. Right? And then also you ask questions. I think it's also important. If you're not clear about something, ask. Don't feel like, I don't want to, but ask. Go.
But do you see how different our birthing experiences were?
Yeah.
Like, this is multiple countries.
Yes,
I still
yes.
definitely feel like the experience in the US was amazing. The experience in the UK was horrific.
Yeah.
But then Canada too
But
wasn't
Canada is
bad.
similar to UK in terms of, like, I don't know if you pay.
No, so in the UK, you know.
It's just maybe that particular.
Okay, maybe it is me.
Okay.
When you pay for something,
That's
when you pay for something, you pay for the value you want.
Right.
So in the US, I was treated like a princess.
Exactly, yes.
Everything was taken care of.
Yeah.
In the UK, see, if someone tells you something is free, run the other direction.
Well, not in Canada. It was free in Canada. But I didn't get that. That's why I think it depends on
Okay,
like, the
again,
culture, maybe.
the
Yeah.
population in Canada, no, I know.
It's true. Could be, and could also be, Canadians are very...
And Canadians are nice.
And I think Canadians like to do a good... I don't know how to explain. It's like, they like to...
The team, I feel like
Maybe the
someone
team.
else in UK will give it and say, oh, it was amazing.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you
because
know,
it's free here
I gave
too.
birth in London,
Yeah.
and London is actually overpopulated,
Big, I
so
get
they
it.
don't have your time.
That
They
makes
don't
sense.
have your time,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
then even the consultants, like there's nobody attached specifically
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
So every time you just come and meet someone different, and so that affected the experience. And then on the day of the delivery itself, you don't know any of these staff, and so obviously if you're feeling anxious, there's no one there to say. There's no one familiar to say. Come. So like you had your midwives.
Because it was I had midwives and also the doctor that was going to do the surgery. I knew the two people.
Yeah.
But that's because it was elective, which is where the real issue is. It's like if it's an emergency one, sometimes in most cases you might not know the doctor that will actually do the emergency. And that's
then-
when CS a lot of times goes wrong.
And then
that's when,
after the delivery, like they put us on an open ward. So in the US we had like we had a private suit, we had the private
Okay,
suit.
so maybe
there
that's
was
also, yeah.
everybody could stay over.
So I guess
in
if
the
you're in
UK.
Canada too, so they do this thing. They do this thing where they can put. I don't know if it's an open room. It's like a shared room, so it's not like very open. But we were able to pay for like private room. So maybe that gave the extra. But the private room extra was like $100. And I was in the hospital for 3 days.
Excuse me, you still what? What's the key action? Hey. So if you hear free,
It's
for
true.
all my freebie hunters, if you hear free,
Set your expectations.
set your expectation that anything your eyes should see.
Yeah, and even the recovery, like the recovery with CS, like I feel like the nurses matter a lot. So like for me, the nurses were really keen on me getting up, moving around every now and then. Maybe it was every hour or every other hour. They'll come and walk me around for the 3-4 days I was there. Like it was, I think recovery has been pretty smooth. And also if they offer you pain meds, please take the highest. Even if you have high threshold, be taking your pain meds. They don't complain that, oh, no, it's like hurting. Yes, don't suffer and smile.
Those
Use
pain
your pain
meds.
meds. Use your pain. They will give you like a high level because you know how it is. Like at some point I was like, oh, I'm okay. Maybe just that normal, like the normal. And then after I beg.
Please bring it back.
Because after all the anesthesia and all the stuff that they give you wears off, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Did you react to morphine?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
So
But yeah.
I just remembered what you were talking about when the anesthesia wears off. I felt like ants were crawling inside my brain.
How?
So I react. So that was when I now realized I react
that
to
you react to
morphine, bro. So they call it crawling skin, where you feel like ants are in your blood,
Like
in your
pinching?
skin.
Was it
It's not
pinching?
itching, it's just your skin is crawling. Just imagine if you had like soldier ants walking all over you from your head to your feet.
Wow.
It's not nice.
That's like chloroquine. Is it like chloroquine?
I've never.
Chloroquine is itching.
This
This one is more like crawling sensations.
Yeah.
just-
So it feels like everything is crawling on your skin.
goodness.
See, at the end of the day, I think the LCM of this is that thank God we're alive.
Yes.
Because there is a lot that happens during pregnancy
And
childbirth.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Read books. I'm going to confess, I wasn't going to say anything because I don't want to be over spiritual, but I prepared. When I say I didn't have any pain, it was because I prepared for it. There's this book I'm going to recommend if you're watching this. It's called Supernatural Childbirth. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's called Supernatural Childbirth.
Yeah.
And I prayed it from the moment I found out that I was pregnant until the day of delivery. And that's why I don't know how labor pain feels. I don't know. And even though I had a CS, what I believe is that was God's perfect plan for me.
Yes.
And it was a better way for me. Right? So, yeah.
Speaking
agree.
about praying,
Yes.
because Kome said she prayed, it's just that we probably had different prayer point because I also prayed, and everything I prayed against did not happen. One, I said I don't want pregnancy nose. My nose will not expand. And I never had that. I said I pray I don't want to be spitting about the place. I
So
never
next,
had that.
pray. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're a Christian and you believe in that,
Pray anything
like
you don't
pray.
want. So if she could pray about pain, she didn't have pain, and I could pray about all those things. Could if some women their feet expand during pregnancy, get bigger? I said I don't want that to happen to me. It did not happen to me. So anything you pray against, honestly, if you tell God I don't want this, it won't. Because if she can pray against labor pain, I don't know why I forgot to pray against.
That's how we know.
Labor pain and morning sickness.
No, that's how we know who is vain.
Yeah.
Femi was busy praying about appearance.
I don't want to spit. I don't want big nose.
I don't want big. I don't want
fat
big feet. So that's a funny thing, right? Because I actually my shoe size definitely changed, and it never went back. But the thing is, it was not a big deal for me. The one I knew was that I was terrified of the pain. And so I spent the entire pregnancy praying about the pain.
Okay.
And I also
Yeah.
prayed about morning sickness because I'd seen my mom go through horrific all-day sickness. And in my mind, I was like, yes, this is how it's supposed to be.
Me, I actually thought that.
So, yeah.
The reason why I never really thought to pray about morning sickness was in my mind. I thought that it was because I can get a little anxious sometimes when I'm pregnant. So sometimes I feel like when I'm feeling the morning sickness, it's like a sign to me that okay, everything is good. I don't need to be going to the bathroom and checking. Oh, is there blood? Is there this? Is there that? Like all that kind of stuff. But honestly, in hindsight, I think it would have been a good idea to pray for morning sickness. Because that is not fun. But I think also I feel like secretly I might be okay with morning sickness because it makes me lose weight.
Because you're not able to eat.
So that is unconsciously you like it.
Yeah, unconsciously I might not mind it. But again, it all depends on you as a person.
Yeah.
What matters to you? Like Femi said, Dr. O cared about the nose because honestly, that thing can be.
I think can be.
That thing can be.
I think we didn't even talk about it. The change in appearance.
Transformation that happens in your body.
Bro, can we talk about it?
Yeah.
I will not do this to myself and put the picture on the screen, but just believe me when I say I looked nothing like myself. Wow. I think I've shown you the picture before. Yeah. I looked like you could have passed me in the streets and not know it was me. The transformation was complete. Like imagine if you went for a makeover and you're like, yeah, we're going to change it.
Oh my God.
It was so bad. My face. First of all, I was as dark as this your outfit. Yes. I'm not even lying.
I sometimes get darker.
I was so dark. I was puffy. My nose was like 3 sizes bigger. My feet expanded. The only good part was my hair was so long. So that was like compensation. But everything else. And then I had what's it called? I had what's this thing called?
What's it? I don't know.
Tags, skin tags.
Okay.
So these are remnants from pregnancy. Wow. I had skin tags, my neck, my breast, my back. It was so bad.
Okay.
Like sometimes I even felt so sorry for my husband. Like, wow, what I married versus what I got.
This one's odogu
Like what? But
women go through.
But my first pregnancy was like, but my second pregnancy, nothing.
You didn't change.
Wow.
No, I didn't change.
Wow. Interesting.
But that first one, it was like that baby hated me.
I'm trying to explain it, but have you also noticed? Do you think that is it because first one's a girl and the other one's a boy.
Perhaps.
Because, like, with my first two, I changed a bit physically. Not at the end, but, like, not at the beginning, but, like, midway through. Got really darker. I started having more pimples. Like, all of those things were happening. But when it was my boy, it was fresh.
Yeah, okay, so maybe there's something there. Because with my girl, I looked like she hated me. Right?
She was sucking out some of the beauty.
It was so bad. And the transformation was complete, head to toe.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway, it could be
With the other one,
Stress.
there was nothing.
Yeah, sometimes you can't explain this.
In fact, people didn't even realize I was pregnant for a long time. But for the first one, 3. As soon as I found out, I was showing.
Wow.
It was so bad. Anyway,
Oh man,
what else haven't we talked about? Though?
childbirth. We haven't really. So we've talked about the process of the baby actually coming out. We've talked a little bit about breastfeeding, but we didn't talk about the pains of breastfeeding.
Oh boy, remind me.
How long before breast engorgement? That's nipple parts where the thing be hurting, and they say use lanolin. I mean lanolin cream. Does it work?
It worked
It
for me
helps with the
eventually.
chats. Yes,
Eventually.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just my mind. That thing did not work. Every time baby puts mouth on that thing, it's like,
Did you ever use a nipple guard? Because that saved me from that so.
okay, so nipple guards.
Nipple guard.
It would be good to.
So the nipple guard is a
What does it look
plastic. It is a very thin
like
rubber that you now put on top of the nipple, but the nipple has to be out. So you now put on top the
Gotcha.
nipple, and then the baby sucks through the nipple.
Good
so sometimes you see the baby struggling, getting a bit frustrated, but almost at the expense of your sanity. It was
Good
better.
Good info. Pumping milk.
Yeah.
How
Very helpful.
very helpful.
Because that was how I was able to go to work. I'll pump, keep.
What kind of
use
pump
it.
were you using? Because man,
Funny thing was,
Pumping
there
wasn't
was
working.
electric pump, but I was using manual. Yeah, manual best pump that you be.
you'll be the one person, and it was
Yes.
more effective.
It was more
Because my electric
Yeah.
did not
Because I
work
had
as
one-
well.
What brand did you
Yes,
use?
when you pump.
What brand did you
I don't
use?
remember. Event.
Avent. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What brand did you use, Temi?
It was also Avent.
Oh,
Was
I
it?
used
But
Mandela.
it was electric.
I used Mandela Electric. Oh, that
Was
was
it
sweet.
Mandela?
I
Mandela
tried.
is good too.
I tried
Mandela is
one
good.
before, Lasonin or so there was another brand, blue and black brand. That one was okay, but then when I changed to Mandela, it was a dream.
I think-
like you just put it on
How many
and just
minutes?
be reading a book
How
or
many
watching
minutes?
like. For me, it was like half an hour, and I would do like 4
pretty
bottles.
Good. Wow, that's pretty good. No, like maybe I did.
I used to feel like a cow.
Maybe I
though.
did producing milk.
Like,
That's
yeah.
good. No, but I think that may just be if you're also producing a lot of
A
milk
lot, yeah,
as
maybe.
a person. Maybe is there anything around like
I used to
producing?
produce because sometimes I'll be in the shower.
And
Milk
it's
will
just
just
be
be
pouring. Wow.
Like
Wow.
shower is coming down.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why manual worked for you, because I'm imagining like
Yeah.
if I have to be doing this like for like 30 minutes or more.
The action is sending me.
Like
Yeah,
all the veins will be out.
you'll
It's
be
exhausting.
tired, yeah.
But if it's coming out the way you said it was coming out, whoop,
Wow.
you
Sometimes
don't even need to
I
press.
don't even need pump. I'll just use my hand first to express, then I'll now
and then
start
to
the
just-
pump when it's going. Because it's just
Interesting. Well, hopefully you're
it was
lucky.
a lot, yeah. It was a lot. So you can now imagine what engagement was like. When I would go to work, after I come to Monday, I'll now go work all day.
yeah,
By
yeah,
evening,
yeah.
when it's time to come back home, I'm in pain.
And
there's no painkiller that can solve that pain.
No.
It's only when
the baby.
starts.
It's only when
Yes.
the baby gets on it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
true.
It's magical.
You had to
That's-
go back to work after a very short time, yeah? How did you cope?
Then I will not have to put breast pad because after a while, it gets so good that the milk will start leaking. It will
Did you
spill
not know
your-
that you could? Did you not take like your pump to?
If I pump at work, I have to throw it away because there's no freezer to keep it. Do you get? So, and I don't want to do
And you
that.
don't want to waste it.
Yeah, so I just put the breast pad, and the breast pad will be literally drenched in
Wow.
milk by the time I get to. Where's the baby? Milk.
And then you just feel.
And then I feel relief.
Okay, so yours was, so mine was a bit similar. Where when I went back to work, my baby was exclusive. She wouldn't take from the bottle, so I couldn't even express. And she wouldn't eat all day till I got back from work. And so when I would be in the office, there was nowhere to express. In fact, when I got to work the first day, the HR lady was like, "Oh, there's one bathroom that you can pump in." I'm like, "Heck no, I'm not pumping milk for my child in a bathroom." And this was the bathroom that people coming from the gym would shower in.
Oh my
I'm like,
God,
how
yeah.
gross. But of course, she was a
Maybe
young
the
girl,
room,
didn't have kids.
the
So
room,
to her, she didn't even get it. Anyway, so I would spend the whole day engorged. By the time I get home, it feels like almost like you're getting feverish. Like you're beginning to get a fever and everything. So let me tell you this one that
reminding
happened.
me.
I was in a meeting. So obviously I had the breast pads in. I was in a meeting and I just realized that I was presenting and I just realized that no one was listening to what I was saying. They were
Because it
all
was wet.
staring.
Oh my gosh.
And so I looked down and literally not only was
thing
he wet,
happens.
it was just pouring down. So my shirt was a bit like satin
Did you have belly
silk.
pad or it had
feeling
even
it.
soaked the breast
It had
pad
soaked the
and-
breast pad. I was just pouring out. I have never felt so embarrassed in my life before. And it was so bad because like this is a meeting of C-level executives, and obviously they know you just came back from maternity, but I don't think in their brain it connects that you are breastfeeding a human being. So anyway, I don't even know what I said to get myself out of that meeting, but it was just drenched. I was like, oh my God.
And does it happen to you that when your baby is crying, it's like the milk is now coming out?
Yeah.
more?
If I hear my baby
Right,
crying,
the milk will.
Well, I didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
I didn't, well, maybe I didn't pay attention to it. And it's possible. What I know that nobody said is that all of a sudden, once you give birth, somebody that used to sleep very well, all of a sudden you stop sleeping well. And what that means is not like you're asleep, you're not like, I'm able to sleep, but wherever I am in my sleep, whether I'm in Jerusalem or I'm in another place, once the baby cries or makes a pim sound, it's like you're just connected. You just wake up like baby, 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 baby. And I was like, oh my God, this is so like interesting. Like still sometimes I'm very tired and I'm like vexed and waking the up and yeah, you must wake up with me and do this shift. You're not sleeping. But like it's just amazing how much you lose sleep.
Yeah.
But that you're not too mad about it because you're feeding you're feeding a human being. So yeah.
that's
the
nurturing
part.
side of you. Did you
Yeah.
ever do this thing where you go and, if your baby has been sleeping for a while, you go and touch the baby?
Oh yes, oh yes.
So
Please. I'll just like pay attention to
The chest movement.
yes, like to
make sure
see.
they are
No, I used to poke the baby.
So that people now wake up, you now start all over again.
No. Just to make sure that you are moving. So you know, so oh my God, my children are going to watch this one and I'm like, Mommy, you're so extra. Like, so sometimes I used to put the baby, I noticed that when I put the baby down on the tummy, baby sleeps better. So
Okay,
I won't be
so-
able to see the chest, so I'll poke the baby.
Right.
Like, if the baby wiggles up, like, okay, you're
Okay,
fine.
so yeah, I guess if they're on the
Oh,
tummy
God, yeah.
just for a bit, like yes. That's
I'll
another way.
poke you.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
are you there?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Exhausting. So is there anything else before we get into the cookie jar?
I can't think of anything that we haven't covered, but all I'll
Okay.
just say is educate yourself.
Educate. All right, remember also, before we continue this, is if you've been enjoying what we've been saying so far, remember to subscribe and like and engage with us. We would really appreciate it. So I'm going first today. For some reason, I'm volunteering myself.
I'm
You're
proud
welcome.
of you.
You're welcome.
Proud of you.
Ooh, okay. Why does nobody warn you about the mental load of motherhood? I think this is a big one. I don't even know if we can. I think this is an episode of like motherhood in general.
Yeah.
But why do they not warn us about it? I think they should do a better job of explaining
I
it.
asked
But
my mom.
You did? You asked
I
her?
asked
Your
my mom, and she said if they tell you, it will scare you.
That
and
makes sense.
Obviously, if you are that scared, you won't want to have kids.
It's true. It's true. So should we like reduce the intensity of what we're saying?
No, I
So that
think
we will not scare single girls. It's an amazing thing, okay?
it's a lie. I think on the flip side, I would rather have known because I would have been better prepared. Like even things like how to choose your doctor.
That's true.
Because because they portray it in the movies to be something very easy. You vomit once and then miraculously the pregnancy is done and the baby comes out. Even things like, how do you choose your medical support team? If you know how intense childbirth is, you will be more aware of who's going to deliver this baby.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian, am I going to go to a Buddhist to deliver my child if we're not aligned in our faith thoughts, right? So for me, I've seen women that things were going wrong in their delivery, and it was the medical team that started praying over them, right? I'm not trying to over spiritualize it. I'm just saying you will not want to think of who am I, what is important to me, so that when you're choosing your doctor, when you go and interview your doctor, please don't just take any random person that has a medical degree, which is what I did, which is why he wasn't even there. And I feel like that was God protecting me. He wasn't even there for the delivery. But if I had been wiser, I'd have asked him questions. I'd have interviewed multiple doctors, and then I'd have chosen the one that aligned with my thoughts. So basically what I'm saying is, it was better for us to have more information.
I get it.
So that we can be better prepared.
I get it. I think there's parts of it that is actually important around the having information too. Is if you think about this, when we all had our first, we knew more about what it was about. That the next one, in my mind, at least for me, the next one I was like more mentally ready. And you see some women, they even go the route of, okay, my first one was C-section. I'm not allowing anybody trick me into doing a C-section for the second one, right? And they actually do it. Or some women say, you know what? I mean, for me, if I already know the process, I already know what it looks like, I can have my baby in the house and have a home birth,
or like a water birth or whatever.
Water birth, yeah, like
but
that kind of
that
stuff.
comes with
It comes with the initial experience where you're like, okay, I know what this is about. So I guess if you know, then, or if someone gives you like a lot of information and you're confident in what you know, then you're able to like actually really prepare yourself for that process.
So I have sisters, and because of my experience, my little sister was better prepared. The kind of things she went into it with more mental preparedness.
That makes sense.
Even the things she purchased for her birth, like you could see that a lot of thought. The way she chose her doctor, a lot of thought. I wish that I'd had that benefit of being prepared, right? And it's not even like it's not even the big things. Sometimes it's the little things. Things like, how do you actually get, like Femi said, should I pack in her baby bag the night of delivery?
Some of us, even if they want us, even they educate us, we still do last minutes.
I can't help you people.
I get it. Okay, all right, who's next?
I'll take.
All right.
I don't know why I'm passionate about this topic.
I don't know.
How do you keep your relationship strong when the baby takes all your energy? I expect him to be tired too, because we should be in it together. Innit?
It's a team.
It's a team. It
You
shouldn't
did
be
the
one
teamwork.
person.
You did the
But
initial.
in all honesty, the baby take more of your energy because last year they weren't breastfeeding.
Yes.
So even if he wants to help you, except when you express,
if you express, then there are ways to share it though.
We shared it though.
But
Like,
that's if your baby wants to take from a bottle.
we didn't
Yes,
have
but
bottle.
baby
We didn't
doesn't.
really
So how
do
did
bottle.
you
She didn't
share
take
it?
bottle. So things like, yes, when the baby wants to breastfeed, but every other thing, because what adds to a woman's
Like
mental
bathing
load,
the baby.
what adds to the woman's mental load is also the fact that she's not just taking care of the baby, she's also taking care of every
Everybody
other thing and
else.
everyone
oh
else.
no, I couldn't relate to that because I had house helps for my two, and my mother-in-law was
Nigerians.
around.
See, so
I couldn't relate to that.
Nigerians in Nigeria.
I didn't have any help. And in fact, we even need to, maybe this is a separate episode.
This is a bigger one.
The mental health is also something that we don't talk about.
We didn't talk about that. I think what we're going to do is have a part two, kind of like almost like the marriage sparkle or something.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll have a part two because I think there's a bigger discussion around like motherhood, like after the baby comes out. How do you handle it? You know, the post-trauma.
Yeah, we've not even talked about sex after childbirth.
Okay.
There's so many
There's
things.
definitely a part two.
So we're going to come with a part two, okay?
Right. So I'll just answer this question and say, for us, part of the ways we kept the relationship alive was having fun in the process. So I would do the breastfeeding. He was taking care of like the cooking, every other thing that I didn't have to physically
And
do.
if the baby needs to sleep extra.
And then
yeah.
even when he went back to work,
Yeah.
as he's walking in the door, take your child, and I'm off to sleep because the whole day I haven't been
been
able
with the
to sleep.
baby.
Like, did we even talk about how difficult it is to have a proper shower? No. Doctor, always excuse from this conversation.
People backing baby, I didn't have to back my baby.
Can you imagine?
My
Because
goodness.
there are people to back
How to have a
baby.
proper shower? Like, there are several times I'll get into the shower and the baby will just scream, end of shower. End of the shower. Yeah.
That's a different. I feel like that's a different, like, motherhood. Anyway.
Why does pregnancy make your sense of smell too powerful? It's the hormones.
It's the hormones.
Yes,
this is
all
a
the
perfect
hormones.
question
Perfect
for
question.
you. My goodness, that was too easy.
Yeah, all the hormonal changes in your body are the ones that increase, give you a heightened sense of smell, so you are able to smell, and you're more sensitive to things like even your perfumes that you normally see. You have to like turn
I didn't
it
have
down.
that.
You didn't. It didn't happen to you.
I can smell anything.
You couldn't smell anything.
I can.
What?
And
I
it
can
didn't
smell
affect
anything and it
you.
didn't affect me.
Oh, okay.
Even
okay.
like
yeah,
spraying
no.
perfume.
Not everybody that smelled something felt nauseous. Like in her case, she didn't.
She
But
didn't.
you definitely have a heightened sense of smell. You smell things that other people can't smell. You'll be like, I can smell that. Everybody will be like, what's,
Oh, I
what's
don't
wrong
even know
with
if I
you?
even want that.
But
The burden of that, but yeah.
on the back of smell, heightened sense of hearing is after the baby's born.
Oh
Yeah, 'cause
yeah,
of all
maybe
the
that's what
crying.
happens. Where like regardless of where your sleep, like how deep your sleep is, what's it?
Did they even cry? Oh my God,
Let's
this
pick one. This has been exciting. I'm really hoping
That
you
has
guys have
been
been enjoying
so
it as
much
much
fun.
as we have. Oh, did you? Is this not the one you did?
No, I dropped it.
Okay. So this one is for you, the audience. Do cravings really make sense? Or is your body just messing with you? I
If
honestly,
you're
I
one
don't
of those
know.
people that craved salads, please tell us how you did it.
Is it? Does it have anyway? This is really for the audience. So if this question, if you want to attempt it, please drop a comment for us on our channel. Remember also to subscribe, like, and we really hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Watch out for part 2 of this because we're gonna dig deeper into motherhood and everything. All right. So see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.